Fuck.
All governments suffer a recurring problem. Power attracts pathological personalities. It is not that power corrupts, but that it is magnetic to the corruptible. Such people have a tendency to become drunk on violence, a condition to which they are quickly addicted. Missionaria Protectiva, text QIV Decto. Welcome back to Dune Saga, everyone. This is season 3 of our Dune campaign here on the Stolen Fires channel. I am Eric at Madon Recluse Online, your game master for this epic multi-arc adventure series, which continues tonight with our 5th storyline, Leviathan. Very special welcome and salutation to new and old viewers alike to the Stolen Fires channel here on Twitch, where there's always a Let's Play or an RPG live play to look forward to. As a content warning, this program features adult situations and language and may not be suitable for all ages. Listener discretion is advised. Special music shoutouts go to Pixabay, Infraction, Repulsive Sound, The Whole Other, Tabletop Audio, and Blear Moon for the use of their excellent music. You can find more awesome ambient sounds and tunes over at inaudio.org, secretpress.bandcamp.com, music.youtube.com, pixabay.com/music, and SoundCloud. Many thanks to Modifius Entertainment for making awesome games for us to play. I want to thank also Roll20 for the use of their virtual tabletop platform, perfect for hosting games like Dune, Adventures in the Imperium. And as always, we want to give a big thanks to our viewers and fans for tuning in. Our house entourage is here and ready to engage in the deadliest of intrigues. Agents of the Imperium, remind our audience who you are, where they can find you online, and who you will be playing this evening. Beginning with Leo.
Hello, my name is Leo, and you can find me here on Twitch, doing all kinds of stuff, playing video games and playing tabletop RPGs, obviously. So, and today I will be playing Archibald, the schemer of schemers.
Excellent. Aaron.
Hello, everyone. I am Aaron, the new and improved and fully out Aaron. My pronouns remain not he, him. But you can now spell my name either A-R-O-N or E-R-I-N as you prefer. Tonight, you can find me pretty much everywhere as Great Cthulhu also. But tonight I'll be playing Eloise Cheshire, whose pronouns are she, her.
Devin.
Hello all, I am Devin. You can find me online at Sort of Sullied. You can find Bean behind me trying to get on screen. And tonight I am playing the totally honest Reverend Mother Norma.
What? Ambrose.
Hey everybody, I'm Ambrose. My pronouns are he or they. You can find me all over the internet. Little ghosty, known as Am Changeling, and you can find me on Etsy at Thornkind. And look forward to playing Zoshir Tamara for you this evening, whose pronouns are he, him. Thank you.
And last but not least, of course, Rachel.
Hello, my name is Rachel. You can find me Stolen Fires pretty much everywhere, including for now Twitch, Twitter. For now Twitter. I've also been picking up every random Twitter alternate that people have been throwing in front of my eyeballs, so we'll see which one of those stick. And tonight I am playing Daphne, who achieved the thing that she wanted without having to work for it. So, she's gonna have to pay for that somehow.
Now for a very short recap of what happened in the previous session. Ambrose, if you would be so kind.
I would be honored. Norma stares down the Fremen Sayadina, both unsure of each other, of their motives. The Sayadina, however, knows who Norma is, the right hand of Mother Superior Habrishka, and the Sayadina herself, a rogue agent. Norma, she decides, isn't here to take her in. Instead, she turns her wrath on the captives, calling Norma to her and signaling Zoshir to be ready to shoot. Before Daphne can speak, Jawid and his Chris knife bearing retinue storm in. Sorry. Eyeballs. The Naib peers into Massum's face, realizing by the whites of his eyes that they have not been on Arrakis long. Daphne claims to know nothing of a spice bribe. As to the ornithopter, perhaps branding? But Zoshir insists they found a banner, not a brand mark. As Joey demands to know who Massum is, he makes a terrible realization. Without the spice bribe, the satellites have come awake. Their enemies can track them down now. Daphne and Massum are blindfolded and move to the rear of the siege as Daphne chirps. They have certainly already been followed. Zoshir moves to guard the siege's entrance, but isn't prepared for Tiberius to get the drop on them. For now, Tiberius has his forces aim and hold fire. All Zoshir can find is a scrap of amethyst silk among the rocks. Meanwhile, Norma and the Sayadina, Longinus, Isabel, Soche, did I say that right? Soche? Okay. Confront each other. Norma says the shortening of the way Isabel knows of is only Mahaim's personal choice. That throws Isabel, who demands to know what Norma is up to. Norma reveals Kwisatz Haderach is already here, one who will allow the sisterhood to transform themselves. She lightly mocks Isabel for not recognizing him when brought to her doorstep. What? Does Norma speak of the boy? Schemes within schemes. Isabel draws Norma into private conversation. Back at the palace, Eloise's security detail informs her of the breach. For her own safety, they should return to the embassy. She agrees, inviting Pardo to join her. But Pardo, surrounded by red flashing screens, is slightly busy at the moment. Eloise leaves, but calls Pardo from her ground car and reports seeing Harkonnen ornithopters in the air. Pardo knows exactly what that means, and orders his people to advance immediately on the siege. Meanwhile, Eloise receives a live feed from Amira of armed troopers, distant Fremen, and a flash of amethyst. Tiberius orders his team to take the Fremen quietly, and captures 2 of them easily. Zoshir is amazed that 2 off-worlders got the drop on Fremen. Ambrose was not very happy with Roll20. He only has a few moments to experience this emotion, however, before Tiberius appears and uses a slip tip to make Zoshir captive, demanding to know where the Duchess is. She's inside the siege with Massum, their hoods removed in a humid, plant-filled room. Massum asks Daphne if he should use the voice. He's convinced the Fremen will kill them. Daphne isn't so sure. This is a frame job. She reminds Massum that they won Canley against House Carroll by refusing to fall for attempts to divide their house. They didn't fall for it then, and they won't fall for it now. As they talk, Norma and Isabel enter. This one? Asks Isabel, pointing to Massum. Daphne immediately moves to put herself in between the Bene Gesserit and Massum. The Fremen don't take this well and train their weapons on her, while Isabel asks Massum what his name is. When he answers, she recognizes the name and says, "The boy is coming with her." He glances to Daphne, who now gives a small nod. "Drop your weapons," commands Massum in the voice. "I am not going anywhere." Well, if anyone doubted his potential as Mahdi, it's confirmed now. Isabel resists the voice, and is now even more determined to bring Massum with her. Sorry, there's critters in the ceiling or attic now that the hurricane has decimated the stuff that keeps them out. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, they're adding great ambiance.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, ambiance, right. Flynn, Sorry. Oh god, where was I? Daphne demands to know where they're taking him. Isabel refuses to answer, but Daphne is pretty sure she can guess anyway. Kyra, sorry. Isabel demands to know how Daphne knows that name. If I know that name, if I know the connection to the boy, then I know enough. Fine, they're both coming. Outside, Tiberius demands to be taken to the Duchess as Amira drops down and reveals herself. She further lets everyone know the Harkonnen are on their way before she herself ducks into the siege, just in time to encounter the fleeing Bene Gesserit and Cheshires. Daphne says there's nothing to worry about. They're taking her to meet her father. Before anyone can react to that, the entrance to the siege explodes. Meanwhile, on Jabberwock, Yeva and Archibald discuss their next moves. Yeva knows the Harkonnen may be the key to liberating Librius from the Cheshires. Alliterations, I love them. But wonders if it's the right move. In deepest privacy, Archibald reveals some of his plans. He knows the Emperor is about to take Arrakis away from the Harkonnen and give it to their arch-nemesis, the Atreides. This surprises Yeva, who thinks Leto is weak compared to the Baron. But Archibald doesn't believe ruling from fear is any kind of strength. And if he knows his niece, Daphne will ally with the Atreides and the Fremen if she hasn't already. He doesn't want House Cheshire. He wants a legacy. There's just one problem with that, Yeva says, unbuttoning her shirt. You have no heir. That's a problem Archibald is happy to fix. Returning to Arrakis. Over the sound of ornithopter fire, shouts of, "Kill them all except the Duchess and the boy! For Rabban the beast!" echo. Tiberius pins them down outside the siege as the Sayadina moves her charges away from the fighting. Amira, determined to protect Daphne and Massum, throws her personal shield towards the entrance before sending information to Eloise as to what's going on. Zoshir's Fremen are eager to wet their crysknives in Harkonnen blood, as Zoshir himself follows the Sayadina. Daphne reminds Norma of the suicide switches, the secret signal to disable any Cheshire-made ornithopter. Norma tosses her communinet to Daphne. I'm a hot mess today, I'm so sorry. Who executes the signal. 3 ornithopters crash into the sand as bloody combat ensues. The Harkonnen fighters are brutal and decimate Tiberius' force. Oh no, they got Jimmy Ohio. God damn it. Oh no, they got Jimmy Ohio. But the tide of battle turns against them and they flee, begging for more backup. Zoshir takes one more down, delivering a crysknife through the chin. The end of an impossibly narrow passageway waits a small thopter. Tiberius watches them board, sending this information back to Pardo. Amira connects Eloise to Isabel, as the guild navigator explains the satellites are back up. But she can negotiate a temporary bit of assistance. Daphne and Massum cannot be harmed, and they require a down payment of spice. Isabel agrees, sending Zoshir with Amira and Tiberius to continue finding the lost bribe. The 3 of them take Tiberius' own thopter to the South Pole. Isabel's own thopter ride is long. Daphne blinks out to Massum happy she's alive, referring to Kyra. Massum struggles, even with his training, to contain his emotions. On arrival, they're led through an island of rock in a sea of sand. The air hangs heavy with melange and incense. Those here defer to Daphne and Massum as royalty. They're led to a Fremen-robed figure wearing an Ixian mask and sitting on an elaborate chair. After some initial suspicion, they step forward, Massum's face streaked with tears. The Ixian mask is removed. Kyra, Iasi, Corino. Even Daphne can't fully contain her emotion at the reunion. They have much to discuss. Back on Jabberwock, Archibald wakes with an uncomfortable feeling about Yeva. She's planning something, but what? Before he can act, however, a page arrives. Omelas is on his way, and Archibald is summoned to the Landsraad by the Emperor himself to account for the war on Jabberwock. Complicating everything, the people have staged a protest against Lady Daphne. Archibald quells the incipient rebellion with promises of Arrakis and the wealth of Melange. As the crowd chants his name, Archibald wonders if he's made the right decision. Meanwhile, Amira, Tiberius, Norma, and Zoshir arrive at the South Pole, just as dawn breaks. Examining the land, Norma sees three factions: Fremen, smugglers, and water miners. As Norma lands, she says she's looking for Davos. The Fremen recognize the name, but he's lost in the desert hunting treasure. However, mentioning him seems to have warmed them up, and they're happy to see a Cheshire sigil. They've seen a few similar thopters recently, one flown by a non-native with a very nice mustache. Zoshir asks about Nelia. About a day ago, she flew towards some extinct volcanoes. Urged by Amira's gift of spice, they indicate she might have been a captive. She was unarmed after all, and their informant has Nelia's siege scarf. After a scuffle, the informant hands it back, slightly blood, and points in the direction they traveled, the Coriolis Storm.
All right, thank you for reading the recap, Ambrose, and thank you as always, Rachel, for writing these excellent notes. Now we can begin again with our storyline, Leviathan. All right. Okay, Leo. Some time has passed on Jabberwock since your meeting with the Baron and your, shall we say, consummation with Yeva Schumann. However, there have been some inquiries that have been coming in as of late, and eventually, everything that was going on Arrakis was resolved with Omelas eventually leaving to meet with you on Jabberwock. So they bring in the Mentat to see you, and he sort of is brought to you very humbly, sort of bows deeply, and he goes up to you and he's like, Sire, I have returned from Arrakis, weeks-long journey. I bring you some news, sire, concerning your legacy, your standing as the steward of Jabberwock. I have spoken with the Duchess, and I have news for you. However, we must speak privately of such things, yes?
Yes, come to my quarters, and we'll talk there. And like I said, I have my little sound thing that I always have on me. I'm a paranoid motherfucker.
You turn off the sound.
Well, the tone of silence, I call it.
Yes.
And turn it off.
Very good. You see, he's like looking over his shoulders, like he very obviously sees Yeva from a distance and just kind of fixes her with this glare, you know, and moves to walk into your quarters, and you see as he sort of huddles in close to you to advise you. He's like, I understand that you have relations with Miss Schumann, and that she is technically part of your house, part of House Librius. However, it is important that we conduct these matters without her. Do you agree
What?
to such a request?
Well, tell me why first. Or what is it that is so important you need to speak to me personally?
Mhm.
And not with my wife as well.
Did you not receive my communication?
Yes, I did. I have no problem with that. But on
Very
the
good. This is the matter that we must discuss, sire.
okay. What about it that we need to discuss about it?
I suspect that you may be conducting yourself in a manner that blinds you to the people around you. That is why I am here. I am here to guide you, sire. Specifically, he says, after you turn on the silence and field, he's like, my resignation went through smoother than I anticipated, my lord. Though it should shame me to my core, I must say that I feel some relief in being released from my previous responsibilities to the Duchess and those in her care. With House Librius and your military mind at its helm, Master Archibald, I believe that we will move that much closer to total hegemony here on Jabberwock. But I must warn you that the Landsraad has been making certain inquiries of you and your involvement over what happened here. There will be particularly pointed questions regarding your acquisition of House Grunenbar's assets and lands. Confronting these inquiries will require you to face the High Council. I can, of course, accompany you there, sire. I can help you navigate what are sure to be very difficult political situations.
I agree. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to do the most simplest thing that we can. And that is tell the truth, believe it or not. That's the best case scenario in this.
You may still be able to honorably tell the truth, sire.
Oh,
In some cases, omitting certain facts may be beneficial to you in the current standing.
like what, may I ask?
Well, say there were certain entanglements that were occurring here in the castle around the time of the assault. I doubt they will ask you about those things, those details. We may not necessarily need to mention those particular issues. And you get what he's getting at. You remember at the time of the assault, you and the rest of the Regis Familia were sitting in the bunker beneath the palace. And there was some talk there regarding a certain mentat of yours, or rather of House Cheshire's, by the name of Pardo Reed, and the nature of heresy. You know, those things.
Yeah. I do recall what you're saying here.
Very
What do
good.
you-
Then you know that mentioning such things go completely against any edicts from the Butlerian Jihad. Such things will not be abided very well by the council.
Oh, 100%. I know that already.
Moreover, sire, it is important that these details be kept from your significant other. How much do you trust Miss Schumann?
Thing is, I've always been a paranoid person. So to be honest with you, not that much. Now, I'm not saying I can't learn to trust her, and I bet she can be a trustworthy person later on. But I just don't know her that well yet.
Having a guarded nature suits you, sire.
I didn't become a general for nothing.
Precisely. It's like when you're ready, I shall acquire what we need to proceed with the Landsraad and their inquiries.
Well, Moss, I also have something I need you to do when we're there.
Yes.
And I'm going to hand him a note. Basically a letter And I'm going to tell him, I want you to give this to the Atreides official spokesperson there. And it's going to say, I know certain events are about to turn on Arrakis, and I plan on being there. I would like an audience with you when we get there. X's and O's, General Archibald.
Wow. Quite a bold prediction, sire. How did you come across this information?
Let's just say you're not the only one that has connections in the Imperial Court.
I see. Very good. Well then, without further ado, I shall proceed. Prepare the way. And he leaves the cone of silence. As he's leaving, Yeva stands in the doorway. Just watches him leave, and then shoots daggers at you. Walks into your silence field. What are you being so quiet about, Archibald? This is our house, is it not? You can speak
100%.
freely at your leisure.
So, before I say anything, I'm going to activate an ability.
Oh,
Yes.
let's hear it.
Passive scrutiny.
Aha.
Yep.
You're always watching, aren't you?
100%. Do I spend momentum for this, or I'm pretty sure that's how it works, right?
I believe if it's passive, I think it just makes it more difficult for them to sneak anything past you, if I'm not mistaken. I have to passive screen. When you enter a scene, you may ask one question. Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Always watching is the one I'm thinking of. When you
Yep.
enter a scene, you may ask one question of the game master, as if you've spent momentum to obtain information. Go ahead and ask me one question that I have to answer truthfully. As soon as she walks into the room, what do you want to know?
I want to know. Okay, I know the question. I just got to word it trickily, so that way you're answering two questions at once.
Bold move trying to play Eric. Leo,
Yeah.
bold move.
Let's see
All
how it
right.
works for him, Johnny.
What's your question, General?
Is she going to use the Harkonnens against me?
No.
No.
She respects the strength of the Harkonnens, but she doesn't believe she has the ability to manipulate them. She knows what she's good at. Is that the end of your line of inquiry?
Yes. If it's just a flat no, then yes. That tells me two things.
Excellent. Let's move the scene. The Kaitane, assuming you don't have it, you don't do anything else. There's a little bit of momentum here. As we change scenes.
Am I not gonna talk to Yeva?
You can.
Oh yeah.
If you want to.
Sure. So I'm gonna ask. Yes, my love. Came in. I understand that what you saw, but I do have to. I have a question for you. I'm the one that's kind of been spilling my secrets recently, and I know I've noticed some particular behavior from you. Why don't you tell me something of what you're planning? Doesn't have to be all of it. Snips. Maybe the beginning, the end, the middle. Just a little.
I think you already know my end game, my love. You know that how I feel about House Cheshire and these other houses. And you know that I believe that we both deserve better than this.
And
So
I
be
want.
steward of this planet. You saved it. You saved
Yeah.
billions. Perhaps this trip to Kaitane will reward us with something better, perhaps. Even the people out there know that you deserve better than what you've been given. So what I want, really, is what I want for you as well.
I agree. And here's the thing. I want you to know that I do plan on leaving this planet.
For Arrakis?
No, something much bigger. I can't talk about it.
What could be bigger than Arrakis?
Oh, just you wait. Like I
The
said,
center of the universe. Very well. I shall enjoy plucking your secrets from your clutches, my dear.
well, I would love to know a secret of yours, something that I don't know. You haven't told me something. I told you something.
I have a few
Need some
irons
more.
in the fire here and there. Don't worry, I'll include you with them when the time comes. But let's just say that for security purposes, I don't want this sort of thing getting out. And I had anticipated your little advisor arriving here, such as he did from Arrakis sooner or later. It was bound to happen. And I'll just be honest, I don't trust that little worm as far as I can throw him, which is quite considerable considering his very frail frame. So, I suppose when the time comes, I shall divulge my plans with you.
Agreed. And I'm gonna end it with this. That's good instincts. Don't trust anybody.
Always know who to trust. All right. If you wanted to proceed, then I'll just jump cut to Kaitane. These requests were weeks in advance. The judge of the change, Rowena, I think the name right now, Rowena Vallinger, wanted to get information from you and the rest of House Librius, more specifically you. There were other people here, though, that are going to be testifying before the Landsraad. Before all these people, all these representatives of the houses of the Landsraad. The two main people that you recognize upon walking into this massive chamber is the head council, Righello, and one of the counselors named Thessel. Righello, imagine Terrence Stamp, but with like a funny, weird hat, robe, and like a set of dead eyes. And Hagor Thessel, the counselor for the Landsraad High Council, is like James Spader as a mentat. Just imagine that in your head for a moment. Before you walk into the chamber, Omelas is like, you remember how we practiced on the way here aboard the Hayliner? Remember my words to you, young sire. Lord Librius, he addresses me. He's like, remember what we talked about. Choose your words carefully. That he lets you walk into the chamber, unless you wanted to say or ask a question before you went in. You can use that same talent again now that you're in another scene.
That is true, I could. Yeah, actually.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't count as a question, but is the Emperor there? And is Shaddam?
Yes, he is.
Now this is the question. Does Shaddam know where Massum is?
That's a very, very deep question, and I can't really answer that because
It says you have to answer truthfully. That's the
I
thing.
mean, he doesn't. I'll tell you what, he doesn't seem concerned about his son currently. He just seems to be annoyed that he has to attend this particular meeting. It's like, here, I'll show you what he looks like. Here's the Emperor residing over the Landsraad. Here is the So that's who you have so far. There are representatives from all the major houses here, and they bring you forward. You notice that there's somebody else here who they're going to, who they may have already questioned. You see her thrashing against the guards as they pull her out of the chamber. It's Alicia Cheshire. She's given her testimony to the Landsraad concerning what happened on Jabberwock, and now it's your turn. Head Counsel Rigello begins. Today, the Assembly has gathered to review your request for acknowledgement of House Librius as a vassal house to House Cheshire. We recognize Lord Archibald Librius is here both as the nascent house's leader and current steward of Jabberwock in absentia, with the recent established rule under Duchess Daphne Cheshire. Councillor Hagor Thessel has the floor. Thessel turns around and greets the head council. Thank you, head council. In recognition of your name and title change, let the record show that we are referring to Archibald Cheshire as Lord Archibald Librius of nascent House Librius. If you can, please describe in your own words what occurred on Jabberwock on that fateful day. Where were you at the time of the attack, and what actions were taken by those of your vassal house? And please do remember that what you say is going into the official Imperial record. Begin. Here's some choices.
So, quick question. Do I need to start at the very beginning when Daphne decided to break me out?
They have very specifically chosen the moment in time that Jabberwock became under attack by House Carroll. That exact moment. They wanted to know where you were and where everyone else was. Because as you see, they've already questioned Alicia Cheshire as to what happened. They're finished with her.
Like I said, the best thing right now is to tell the truth. Currently.
And what would that truth be exactly?
And I'm going to say it like this. Well, when I figured out, first thing I did was I hit comms up, because obviously I was based on the moon. I hit comms, and they gave me a visual on what was happening. One big ship, and then like 2 little smaller ships, and then a whole lot of machines. Say that in a fancy voice.
Okay. They follow that up with you're a man of initiative. Very good, Lord Librius.
Oh,
what exactly was everyone else doing in the bunker just before the bombs began to drop? And it is possible that some among your house retainers knew about this assault. Is that correct?
They did know that they were under attack. Most of them went straight into the bunkers when that time happened. Unfortunately, Daphne died. Not Daphne, but Lady... I forgot.
Adeline.
Thank you.
Okay.
Died in the attack, and then I'm going to say, but for me, I've never been the one to, I guess, stay put and cower. I was in the front lines with my soldiers, saving the planet, as you would say.
See. So as the official record goes here, you engaged with House Carroll's fighters, and then so-called White Rabbits on one of your moons used atomic weapons to drop the shielding on the mothership, enabling House Drunenbar's offensive measures to deal a direct blow to it and destroy it. Is this sequence of events correct?
No. What happened was we used House Drunenbar's atomics to drop the shielding, and then we used And then we used one of our atomics to hit it right in the sweet spot. And it blew up the whole thing.
Very good. Thank you for that clarification. Now, we understand that House Carroll utterly destroyed any traces of House Drunenbar and House of Cardis's Regis Familia. Tell me, do you understand why they targeted every other house but yours with atomic weapons they seemingly gained from your house?
Well, House Carroll thought House Cheshire was responsible for the killing of their daughter. But in reality, it was a face dancer hired by House of Cardis to pit House Cheshire and House Carroll against each other. And then in turn, framing me in the process, spending 10 years in prison.
Huh. Yes, this assault is very much unprecedented, but so is the theft of your former house's atomics. How exactly was House Carroll able to find these weapons of yours and acquire the codes with which to arm and utilize them? Second.
I'm just waiting on your response in Discord.
There you go.
All I know, like I said, I don't remember much. Just because I was 100% being tortured, but I do know the person was a face dancer.
Oh, and that is how they were able to attain these things. Very interesting.
They broke
indeed.
into my cell in prison.
They used some sort of a torture device that affected your memory. That sounds like heresy. What happened with these weapons, Lord Librius?
They were given to the right. They were given to the White Rabbits on the Moon Snicker. All right. House Carroll wanted that. Basically, told them to start a revolution or rebellion in this case. And if they wouldn't have brought me out, things would have gotten way more uglier.
I see. Very good. Now, if you may, explain to the General Assembly once again, Lord Archibald, how you, a titleless noble with no claim to any land, are now in control of the entire planet of Jabberwock. And at this point, you can just say, you can give them the whole spiel all over again, or you could just be like, fuck off, I've given you all the information that I have. Somewhat in this manner, if you want to use such language. He's asking specifically, like, for you to go all the way back to when you were in the garden and how your sentence was commuted by Duchess Adeline, and then you were reinstated as a retainer, and so on and so forth. Which is all information that you've already given.
God, I just
They lost
lost
sound.
it.
Chat lost sound, apparently, by the way.
Oh no!
Well, good, because I need time to think about what I was gonna say. I had it in my head, then I just went freaking blank. God damn it.
No worries.
Fuck. Oh.
You struggle with the words at the podium and you hear the Emperor. Can we please get on with this? Of
Yes,
course, sire.
Liege.
General Librius, please.
You've heard enough from me today.
I see. Thank
If you have any other
Lord
questions,
Librius.
I would recommend taking it up with Daphne Cheshire and or Alicia. But that
I've already
is
heard
what I
from
have.
Miss Cheshire. I will yield the remainder of my questioning and look to head Counsel Rigello to render judgment. Thank you, Counselor. And thank you for your cooperation, Lord Librius. The Council will conference with the Emperor and reach a decision shortly. At which point you see them start to get down from their precipice, and they all sort of retreat into these chambers behind the Landsraad main chamber. Omelas comes up to you. He's being tailed by the Schumann, and he's like, "That was a good show, Messiah." And it's like, they're going to give to us what we are due, I suspect. They shall be finished shortly. And we shall take these news back to us to Jabberwock, I'm sure, to great acclaim. You do or say anything with Omelas and or Schumann?
Yes. He knows the battle eye language thing, right? Omelas does.
Omelas? Yeah, for generations.
I'm gonna, yeah. Well, I'm just making sure. I'm gonna be like, is the job done? Pertaining to the note.
He nods, and he kind of like his eyes dart off to the side, and you see that there's a functionary with like a green and black uniform, and he has like a hawk emblem over his heart, and someone hands him like this what seems to be like a scroll or something like that, and he grabs it, looks at it, looks around. It is done, sire.
Don't
The
look
message
around.
has been delivered. I suspect that they'll be getting in contact with you within the week.
Here's another thing, Omelas. I know you're a very knowledgeable person, but I feel like there's more for you to learn. And I'm gonna
Please,
say,
humble me.
don't sway your head and look at the person we're talking about, please.
He didn't do that. He just kind of
Okay.
indicated with his eyes, like, look over there. And when you turn and look, you saw exactly what I described.
Gotcha.
He wouldn't be
Okay.
that obvious.
Okay.
Several hours later, the council reconstitutes in the chamber, and Rigello speaks again. After convening we have decided that Houses Librius and Cheshire be absolved of the use of atomic weapons under the self-defense clause in the Great Convention's edict. Having heard Alicia's account of the heresy, conspiracy, matricide, and treason, we acknowledge the decision passed down by the Landsraad with their charges. Judge of the change, Rowena Vallinger, will be conducting further interviews and calling for others to attend these hearings so that this body may have an accurate record of what transpired on Jabberwock. For now, House Librius will return the atomics on Snicker to House Cheshire in a swift and safe manner. These weapons will be accounted for by an Imperial overseer and report back to us. As for the forces and assets inherited by the union of Archibald Cheshire and Yeva Schumann through marriage, they will now fall under the control of House Librius. Territories that used to belong to House of Cardus and Drunenbard now belong exclusively to House Cheshire. The Moon of Snicker will continue to belong to House Cheshire, while Snack and its assets will go to House Librius. Any objection to these decisions will need to be taken up by the affected parties with the Landsraad once an objection is filed with the High Council. This body is adjourned. Good day. It's the gavel. Everyone is adjourned. And now we switch back to Arrakis. All right. You were busy, like dodging Harkonnens and stuff. It's okay. All right. Time for some reunions. Norma, Sayadina Myrma, Massum, Daphne, and Kyra. Changing music. Oh, here's Dr. Rowan Ballinger for your curiosity.
Oh, hello, mommy.
Like that, right? You see, Massum kind of embrace Kyra. And you see Massum speaking through tears. He says something like, "I've glimpsed your death. I thought these visions were destined to be true." Kyra responds, "You dreamed those things, my son. Dreams can tell us many things, but they cannot predict the future. Visions are different. Prescience allows us to read the different possibilities of the future. If time is a valley in the sandy wastes, then prescience allows us each to stand atop a tall dune and look out further to see what's ahead. But it does not allow us to see what happens to someone with the same gift as us, for they may be on a lower dune or one that arises higher than our ability to glimpse." She motions for Daphne to join them in the embrace.
You will. She's a little stiff at first, but probably the last time she touched another person was holding her mother as she died. So she's a little touch-starved right now.
Yeah, that's understandable. Let's see here. She's like, Massum breaks the silence, and he's like, "I've never been so happy to be wrong. What happened to you, mother? Where have you been?" And he kind of like breaks away from her for a second. She stands up, and she wipes a tear for a moment. "Mine's is a long and sordid tale, my children. Suffice to say that I went through great efforts to escape here and establish a base of power for myself and my sister," she says, and looks to Myrma. This is a kind of a subtle way to deflect from having to have this conversation right now. You notice, Daphne, she seems to indicate that she'll have a much more in-depth conversation with you and Norma later. But for now, she just kind of like tells Massum what he's looking to hear. Massum's just like, "Oh, we're just happy that you're alive. It's been such a long time." When she looks, you can tell that she's taking stock of you. She notes the way your shoulders slump, and that lump that appears in your throat when her eyes meets yours. Without saying a word, without asking you or your sibling about your sibling or your sibling here, Massum, or you recognize the moment she realizes that Adeline is gone. Stoic until that moment, her eyes close and there's a small tremor of emotion that flutters through her face. There were visions where she saw her standing there, here, with you and your brother. Her heart had seized on these versions of reality. When the realization hits, however, the visions crumble, and as well as any hope she had of her beloved surviving this terrible Imperium. All those hopes and dreams tumbled down her rigid features, and realizing she's gone. You're almost thankful that she can't bring herself to ask how she died. Similarly, she reads your eyes when she asks about your sister. Her reaction is just as easily read. Disappointment and anger for the house traitor and murderer of her greatest love. You say or do anything in response to that?
Oh, wow. Yeah, so they just have this really intense nonverbal emotional exchange. I think Daphne will just wipe a tear away and say, the Landsraad have her now.
She nods. He's like, as I said, it was a bit of a sordid tale. Back on Ishia, I delayed the Sardaukar in your pursuit, using the voice to disarm and murder some of them. I acquired their thopter and made my way to the city, where I snuck aboard a Hayliner that was heading back to Arrakis. You see, like many of the houses in the Imperium, the Emperor also secretly hoards melange and keeps much of it housed on Ishia. On Arrakis, I sought help from former Bene Gesserit sisters, and looks to Norma when she says this. Some of them helped hide me, while others reported me to Wallach. After sidestepping an attempt on my life, I sought concealment in the criminal underbelly of Arakeen. It was there that I discovered criminal organizations with links to the smuggler groups and to the Fremen. The sisters who supported me believed in my vision of the sisterhood after seeing firsthand what they tried to do with their own Kwisatz mother. They also had communication with the Fremen. Using our knowledge of the Missionaria Protectiva, we infiltrated some of their sieges and began the process of creating a base of power for ourselves on this planet. What came next was a schism we created within the sisterhood. Around the same time, base dancers had been discovered as having infiltrated Wallachix. This coincided with the delivery of my genetic material to Mother Superior from my beloved's spy master. Somewhere along the line, base dancers adherent to this prescient spy master, William, were sent to find me here and act upon my orders. And so I gave them purpose within our cause. I had some eliminate and replace prominent members of the criminal underground, while their brethren prepared for the tremendous journey to begin a new civilization for face dancers and other freed Tleilaxu slaves, far outside the borders of the Imperium. In this way, our enclave has been able to acquire many assets: weapons, vehicles, property, food, water, technology, and of course, melange. How do any of you react to this particular revelation that Kyra has just dropped upon you? Daphne, Norma.
Daphne's impressed. She will ask, "Will you tell me to what end?"
What is what is she proposing ultimately?
Yeah, what's the point of all of this? What's the end goal?
She motions for Murma, and it's like now might be a good time to empty the chamber of like Massum and such, so that this information doesn't get into too many hands. She kind of makes this motion like I've already overspoken in the company of a lot of people. But Massum doesn't want to leave. He's like, no, I want to be here for this. I've waited all this time to see you, Mother. There's no way I'm leaving your side now. She's like, very well. What am I proposing? Myself and these other sisters? Something truly radical, she says. I'm planning to destabilize the pillars of power in the Imperium and change it forever by uniting the tribes of the Ishwan Bedouin and stopping the spice flow on Arrakis. Crush the Harkonnen machine and seize control of the Sisterhood on Wallach, beginning a new epoch for humanity.
The Imperium can't function without spice.
Precisely.
There'll be chaos. The trade networks will dissolve.
They will be exactly what we want them to be, and no more.
There is no other way besides this way, she says. This moment we are in currently is one that is rife with possibilities. Even I, with my powers, cannot adequately convey what may or may not happen. But even in times of crisis such as these, there are paths we may follow that can lead to much better outcomes in our present situation. Some of those paths are disappearing more and more from one day to the next. Too many unexpected variables have entered into my view as of late, making the future that much murkier than before. We have to take action sooner rather than later.
So, you're saying change the entire structure of the Imperium and all of the chaos that will bring because of your visions?
Believe me, Daphne. What I'm proposing is the middle ground. You don't want to know the alternatives.
I think I do. You're asking me to believe quite a lot on faith.
Let me ask you, why did Socrates die?
Because the questions he asked the youth threatened the power structure of Athens.
Correct. Because the knowledge he was encouraging threatened the positions of those in power. What I am proposing is much bigger in scope. Anything to say to this, Reverend Mother Norma?
Would like to see what your scope is on a more personal level.
What is?
Her scope is. Shorthand, I'm asking to share.
So Daphne completely misunderstands the question, and so she looks to Massum and says, "I thought you had entirely different plans for him." Like, implication like, I thought you wanted to make him emperor, not destroy the Imperium entirely.
I do not want something that my son doesn't want. Is that what you want? She says, and looks over at Massum. He's like, I just want to be your son, he says. I don't want to be a prince or a king. I don't. And she kind of smiles sadly. She's like, just like her, aren't you? Just like Adeline. Didn't want to rule, but it was forced upon her. It was thrust upon her. Some would say that was fate and its hand at play. I refuse to believe in such things. We can create our own fate, I feel.
So
So what's running through Daphne's mind currently? Oh no.
like, essentially, please help us melt down the entire society that you live in and, like,
Mhm.
whose values you have been taught. And just, like, if it was anyone else except Kyra Iasi telling her this, but because it is Kyra telling her this, she's at least willing to entertain it, and so she will ask, so what comes next? What comes after?
Follow me, she says. She's walking towards the back of the chamber where there appears to be a very large curtain of beads and things made of spice fibers. Myrma follows behind like a good adherent, hands clasped, head down. Reverend Mother Norma, you don't see too many people here currently, but in the alcoves off to the side, you do notice that there are shapes. They appear to be Fremen. When you look closely, you realize they're face dancers. When one of them moves out of the shadows, you all almost automatically get into a defensive position. And then Kyra holds up her hands like, no. They're with me. And she proceeds to go to the back of the chamber with you, show you what she's been up to all this time.
I will go.
Massum follows, somewhat concerned, a look of concern on his face, holding his mother's hand as he does so. Is there anything that you wanted to do, Norma, before you proceed into the rear of the chamber?
How many of them are there?
At least two in this chamber currently, watching from each side, one from the right, one from the left. They are armed.
All right, I'll trust her. Then yeah, I'll follow.
Okay. All right. And that scene being over, one less momentum, we shall move to the deserts outside of this siege and to our party consisting of Zoshir, let me get the names right so I don't forget, Amira, Tiberius, and Herdy. So, you have acquired information concerning Nalia and her missing. Well, she was missing. She was captured, it seems, by some outsider and taken to the western extinct volcanoes, from what you were told by some old sand dog named Iblis. You know that a lot of the smugglers here at the polar sinks are going to go back into their hideout, as it were, and they're pulling tarps over everything and getting ready, battening down the hatches, as it were, because they know what a Coriolis storm looks like and how long it tends to last once it hits a particular area. If you're going to make good time, you would need to leave soon, unless you batten the hatches down with them, in which case you may be here for several days. What do you do, Zoshir?
Oof.
Herdy's like, come on, we can get in the thopter, we can go fast.
There's a skill I have I would like to possibly use if it applies.
Oh, okay. Fire away.
It's desert navigation. Would that tell me it's in my
Mm.
focuses for
Yeah.
understand.
Okay.
Would that tell me like how much time, if we'd be able to proceed in our efforts any further, or if we absolutely have to batten down the hatches?
You have time to do both. It's maybe like 30 to 45 minutes away before it hits that area and drives everybody to the shelter. Alternately, you can take off to the air, and you may be able to find a more circuitous route. But perhaps you might be able to try to circumvent the storm as much as you can. You still lose time either way, though, unless you go straight into it. What will you do? You may roll understand if you want to try for that. And you have one momentum that you can spend if you wanted to throw an extra third dice into that test.
Mm-hmm. Let's go with. No, I don't think I'm gonna spend that.
Okay.
I feel like we might need it soon.
You can always give me threat also.
How much do you have right now?
All of it. Well, actually, I'm actually too short because Key is not currently here. Get some rest, Key. But I do have 10 a threat at the moment.
No, you don't need any more threat. I'm gonna use my faith drive because it's Arrakis is sacred. Shai-Hulud is the most sacred of all things.
Very good. So you can, if you're linking it to a drive that has a statement, you can spend a determination point should you need it, which would, of course, give you 2 automatic successes. So go ahead and roll.
I do not currently have any determination points unless I earned some somehow.
You always start the game every session with at least 1. Certain
Sweet.
talents may allow you to have more.
Forgot about that. Awesome. I would like to use said determination point.
Okay, so that's 2 automatic successes. Go ahead and roll.
Yes.
Holy moly. So, wow. All right, so you have 6 successes. Okay.
I know what's going to happen tomorrow in the desert and 2 weeks from now in the desert. Same.
Correct.
It's going to be dry.
6 successes. Damn, that is yes. I'm gonna go ahead and give you like 2 more momentum right now. That was an exceptionally good roll. Okay. Give you the deets here. Why? Okay. So you know of a couple routes that you can take. You'd still lose some time, but you feel like, judging by the way that this storm is moving, if you fly through it, you might be able to get through it without losing too much time or damaging that ornithopter. So unless you roll like a lot of 18s, 19s, and 20s on your subsequent flight rolls, you should be okay. You should be able to get to the volcano intact. Otherwise, you may be calling a worm at some point. Okay. Who's flying?
Oh boy. That is move, correct?
That would be move, yes.
Mine's at 7. What is
You've got Amira and you've got Tiberius with you.
Amira is also 7.
7 movement, that's pretty fast.
Any
Wow.
focus in what you need?
36.
I know Amira's focus is in stealth, of course.
I do have focus or foot that.
So if I guess we're trying to approach sneakily and an ornithopter, stealth might apply.
Yeah, we're gonna try and sneak around the storm. That's totally that counts, right?
You mean you're going to use the storm as cover when you sneak onto the island of the extinct volcanoes, right?
Yep. That's precisely exactly
Okay.
100%. And worms.
And worms. Let's see.
Welcome to Arrakis. We've all got worms.
Tiberius. Let me get Tiberius real quick. Oh gosh. Where are you? Okay. So if you have, he's got a 6 moves. So it's between Amira and Zoshir, honestly, between the two of you as to who wants to pilot. Oh, and one of you can co-pilot, so you can assist the other. So whoever's rolling takes the lead. You roll 2 dice, and whoever's assisting rolls 1 die.
If we're actually doing a stealthy approach, then probably Amira maining it.
All right.
For it.
That means that between the both of you, you're going to need to get about 9 successes. Now, you get 3 tries to do this.
Okay.
Sweet. Do I roll first to contribute a die, or
You can.
do I
yeah,
roll?
typically Amira will roll first. Typically,
Oh, okay.
when you're leading a roll, she'll decide, "Oh, I'll spend some momentum, or I'll give you some threat, or spend a point of determination if it links up with a particular thing. Get my successes, and then you would roll 1 die instead of 2 for your move roll, and then you combine those successes. Then on the second round, you do it again, and so on. You're gonna get like 9 or 10 successes between the two of you. Proceed.
Okay, so I think I'm going to use faith because Amira wants to make it home, and her faith statement is, "I trust my heart, not my head." So she wants this mission over as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible. So I'm going to go with faith.
Yes. All right.
And move faith. I will spend a point of our momentum if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah.
Oh,
How much?
I'm good with that.
Just 1 point for an extra die.
I think we only
Good
have
call.
the one. Oh wait,
We
no,
have
we
3
just
currently.
We have 3
generated
currently.
a whole
Yeah.
bunch from.
Yeah.
Alright, and use
Good
some
for
focus,
something.
yes. Yo, almost halfway there already.
4 successes. All right. Good start. Good start. Go ahead, Ambrose. Let's see what you got.
Move and let's see.
No complications either. I'm impressed. Good roll.
I think I'll stick with faith only because I used it for the last roll of trying to understand the desert.
Okay.
2 dice. Using a focus, no. Unless I'm allowed to
1
use.
dice.
Oh,
Just
okay.
1 dice.
I gotta fix that then. Oh,
Okay,
Zoshir
nothing
got
on that
sand
one.
in his eye.
It's not a complication at least, so we're fine.
Yes. Okay, round 2. Go ahead and roll those bones. See what you got.
Alright, I will, if it's okay again, I will use another momentum.
Smart. Okay.
Also, I want you all to know I love you all. This is game stuff. I
Yeah.
don't want you to take any of this personal. I'm not like this in real life.
Just
Love
fun
you all.
fact, Leo. I have very few lines, and none of them have to do with PvP.
Chat cannot see us going back and forth at each other in the Discord.
Oh.
Shit!
Well then, 1, 2, 3. That's 7 successes and a complication. Okay.
Oh, rough.
Cool.
Oh no, does
Ambrose.
Amira break a nail?
Oh no, complications are bad with Coriolis storms. Go ahead and roll your.
Can I buy that complication off, perhaps?
Would you like to spend 2? Absolutely, of course.
That'd be lovely.
course
I would
you
love to buy that
can.
fucking complication off.
2 threat special. All right.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm not
Oh.
eating that in the Coriolis storm. I'm sorry.
I failed you.
60. Well, it's not
Ambrose.
an 18. It's not an 18, so that's good. It's not a complication. So you got lucky in that regard.
The
It's
fucking
twice now.
not only did the outframe out stealth you, now she's out piloting you in a DUNE storm.
No. I mean, with respect to Ambrose's character, he rides the worm, not the thopter. So.
I know.
Exactly.
I wanted to throw a little Fremen shade.
There's a joke in there about riding a worm. I can't place it.
Ambrose, I made the Fumasi joke last week. We don't need to continue that cursed content.
Last round. 2 successes necessary. 3 if you want a good bonus. Would you like to spend that last point of momentum?
I really do, but I'm gonna look to my lovely players, if that's okay.
Please do it. Don't die in the desert.
Thank you. I hopefully I will get us some momentum back here. Let's go. Fucking 18.
Hey. Uh-oh. There's a complication.
What have you
You're rolling
done?
like shit today. Wow.
Ambrose, play us out with that last roll. And hope to Shai Hulud, you do not roll an 18, 19, or 20.
I think the sacred symbol for that is like head, chest, worm.
I'm not gonna buy this one off. You're all lucky. I'm not gonna put us to 14 threat, okay?
I can't watch.
You got a success. Good
Roll an
job.
8.
That's
Oh,
11
God.
successes and 1 complication. Okay.
My life
Nice.
flashed before my eyes.
I love it.
So there's this unnerving moment as you're flying through the Coriolis storm. All the metal on the ornithopter is rattling like it's struggling to stay together despite everything that's battering it from all sides. You hear like the sound of something metal just rip off the back of the ornithopter as you're flying, and for a second all the lights go off and you're just plunged into darkness inside of this small chamber, and you're just sort of drifting there. Then the lights flash back on as you're like, come on. It's gotta be the sand getting into the thrusters, into the intake or something like that, but everything just shuts down for a second, and then after like trying, it finally flares back up, and there's like a big boom as the thing like jumps up and then back down again. You see it as you're attempting to parse through the shifting sands. You see that large island of extinct volcanoes jutting out of the sand like a dead god. And you're just sort of circling around on the ornithopter as stealthily as you can, using the storm as cover. You see even from up here, even in the middle of this storm that can just rip you to shreds, you see the tarps and the cover that they're using to house their ornithopters. There's more than one, and they're exactly the ones that you remember from that clearing, Zoshir. Whoever took off with the guild bribe is here on this body of land. How do you want to proceed in terms of like landing the ornithopter, getting out, and proceeding to find Nelia and the bribe?
Is there any sign of people being around the thopters at all?
Not at all. Not from this distance. It's hard to see, also. But yeah, you would imagine no one's near those thopters, and with this storm raging outside.
And-
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, you.
No, you.
No, you. Uno reverse.
After you, Emperor.
I was gonna say, let's just land like Amir's used to infiltration. Pretend like you belong. She'll land it where the other ornithopters are.
They're the way that they're established is just outside of the open air. There's like a large opening, and you can tell they're barely visible. But yeah, you bring in this hunk of junk thopter that you took from the siege, and it's barely making its way down. Complication time. As you're landing, the gear gets stuck, and it's just like there's this wrenching sound like as it's coming down, and it's like that shit's not working well ever again, probably. But you do manage to stick the landing successfully, and it doesn't make enough noise to alert the ones that are inside a little bit further. The doors open up. Tiberius and his one trooper go out first, weapons raised. Hurdy has her hand on her crysknife, and she's like, "Should we be going first? Are we going to let these outframe take the lead?"
Oh no. We go
Our spice
first.
bribe. It's our
We go
spice.
Yes.
Okay. And she's like, waddles over and is like, "Hey!" Pushes Tiberius and the other ones out of the way, and Tiberius is like, "What are you doing?" And she's just like, she starts slinking down this large natural curvature in the rock. The wind is just whistling past you. It's like barely audible. Anything that happens, you have to resort to hand gestures to communicate with one another. Hurdy leads the way. Everybody give me stealth in the form of move checks, please.
No pressure.
I will go with power this time because my statement is death determines who rules.
I'm gonna go with duty this time because all for the good of the siege.
And I weirdly enough, I have stealth as a focus.
Me too.
Oh,
Stealth
you've
twins.
got to be fucking kidding me!
Oh Lord.
What did I do? You rolled 20. I swear, I've been good.
Oh God. I'm sorry.
Complication,
You're having
one
a rough day
success.
today.
So she gets 2 successes. All right.
Roll 20 thinks you're playing D&D.
Oh.
Hurdy's gonna roll. Let's see what she gets. Moving.
If Hurdy trips and falls down a dune, I'm gonna be so mad.
Oh my god, worse than me.
Hurdy
Well,
trips
then.
and falls down a dune.
One moment while I consult the charts that deal with complications.
So, didn't you say you were like an expert swordsman that literally cut a guy's head clean off with a cis knife?
I'm not Hurdy. I'm not Hurdy. I did the good role. Okay,
Oh.
I'm the good child.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'm sorry.
You were the
I
you
thought
were the
that
goodest
was,
Fremen.
Hurdy is
thought that was
Hurdy.
Ambrose.
Movements. Information. So as you're heading down, you see Hurdy's like, I think they're this way, and you tend to agree. Amira, you follow her lead. She seems pretty quiet, and you hear echoes of what sounds like a campfire or something like that going on. You hear like chatter between some of these gruff-sounding mercenary types. Pass some more of that melange. You hear one of them say. Need some more in this coffee. And you see, as she leads you around the corner, there seems to be some sort of a glow globe nearby, and it's casting these shadows on the wall. And when she approaches, she's like, I can't see them. I'll move in closer for a better look. She starts slinking around the corner. Amir, do you follow or do you stay put?
I think she, like, if this Fremen's gonna potentially put herself in, well, not put herself in danger, but take the lead, Amir would love a distraction. So she'll wait.
Okay, you're waiting around. Eventually you see that a little further down, you see what appears to be someone like, again, very close to the glow globe. It's very clearly a Fremen woman, and she's tied up. You see as Hurdy moves closer, she's like, I found her. She removes her blade to try to cut her bonds, you know. Zoshir, you and Tiberius move up, and they're looking around. You're all following Hurdy. Do you proceed that way, or do you try to split up, or what do you want to do?
Split up.
Split up. Okay, who's going with who? Amira seems to be staying put, like on the corner, just overlooking where Hurdy is.
I think if Tiberius would be willing to go one way and myself and Hurdy go the other.
Tiberius and you go one way, Hurdy and everybody else goes the other way. Okay, so his trooper, he like does the eye signal thing. You don't know what they're doing, but they're speaking silently with one another.
We did establish Amira knows Cheshire language, high language. So
You know, Zoshir doesn't though.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
I
you see who.
Zoshir knows nothing.
Tiberius makes this motion with the trooper and it's like, keep an eye on these two, meaning, you know, the two Fremen. And then he slinks off with, and then he slinks off with Zoshir in the other direction. And He's like, will you lead or shall I?
We shall. We know this desert better than anyone else.
After you, then, he says, readies his weapon. No shields. As you proceed down a ways from the light, there seems to be other twists and turns to this that lead down into a cavern. You start heading out that way. Hurdy walks in, cuts Nalia loose, and the trooper kind of follows up behind her. Just then, you see that the voices that Hurdy thought were coming from over here are actually coming from over here, in the direction that you're going into. As soon as she manages to cut her bonds, however, she's like, all right, come on, let's get out of here. And Nellie's like, get out of here, it's a trap. Just then, something comes out of the shadows where you're about to descend into, where the voices are now, you're just now realizing those voices are coming from deep down below, and they're just sort of been echoing up this way. Now you hear them say, and like Mala pistols go off in the darkness. Okay, it's initiative time.
Oh no.
Because this is an ambush, they get to go first, and I'm going to go ahead and spend the threat to go ahead and do so. These guys are going to attack you. Let's see. What is that? I got the right. Let me just make sure I got the right character stats here. 1 second. Here we go. Okay. I need Zoshir to roll battle. I need a minimum of 2 successes. I'm gonna roll for Tiberius because he's getting attacked as well.
Oh, battle.
Battle.
Duty. Battle.
Shield fighting. This is duty. Duty is a sharp blade. 2 dice.
Chris knife time.
No focuses for you, my friend. He gets 1 success and a complication. Well, that's no good. Okay, so that is 2. So he loses -2.
I'm going to be using my Chris knife, by the way.
Okay. Tiberius gets winged on his way over. He's like, get down, get cover. He loses in the darkness, like he loses control of his weapon, and it goes clattering down towards where the shooters are originating from. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Next is Zoshir. You got 1 out of 2. That means you take -1 to battle. So what ends up happening here is that the ambush catches you by surprise as well. And what ends up happening is that you, this one comes out and fires at you, and you have to like drop what you're doing and roll to get to cover. As 2 of them emerge, and they're all like planning on shooting you in the back, essentially. You decided to go in their direction, however, so they had to open fire sooner. Let me see. After those 2 attacked, someone is going to attack Hurdy. So she has to roll. Duty, 2 dice, no focus. Okay. Oh. Okay. 2, so she loses 2 now. Okay. You see Hurdy takes a hit, palpable one at that, as one of the shooters emerges from a hidden place where Nelia is being held. he comes out and throws like this thing over top of him and fires at her with this dart gun. Just kind of hits her in the chest, and she's like, ugh, doubles over in pain. Let's see who's next. Amira, give me a battle roll, difficulty 2 as well.
Okay. I'm gonna stick with power, I think.
Okay.
I assume none of my folks will fly here because they're assassination and sneak attack. So no focus for me. One success. All right.
So you take -1 to your battle. It's not a it's a cumulative thing, but it doesn't degrade your ability. It just kind of like once it gets to your total battle number, you're out of action essentially. Let's see. Okay, so everybody's taking some damage. It looks like okay. They are not going to keep the initiative here, so one of you may begin your turn, and depending on what you do, you can spend 2 momentum or pay me 2 threat, however you want to look at it, to keep the initiative so someone else may go. Or you can try to make a move roll, 2 successes minimum, in order for someone else to be able to go after you, or to force one of the enemy to go somewhere else, into a different zone or what have you. Who would like to go first? I will elect Amira to go first.
God damn it! That was not it move. That was a not it move. Fine. So the ones shooting at us are below us.
Yeah. So the way that the corridor kind of twists and turns, it kind of twists and goes down, and that's where Zoshir and Tiberius were moving towards, and where it sort of levels off is where Hurdy and yourself are located, as well as the other trooper. Oh, who gets shot, by the way? He just so he's done.
Ooh. All right, I think I'm going to, despite your skill set, just a move to engage the closest one possible.
Okay, you can get there in one move. We'll say you can you're in the same zone, so you can just move and attack.
Sounds good. Cool.
All right, roll your battle.
I will use by poison.
Mm-hmm. These are mooks, so like 1 hit, 1 kill, basically.
Oh, okay. Then I won't use my poison.
There's at least 2 of them where you are, and there's at least 2 where Zoshir and Tiberius are heading into.
So can I? Well, before I do this, before I roll, before I fully commit, can I move and attack and then also spend the 2 momentum to pass initiative to someone? Or is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do that. Yeah.
Cool. So I will move and attack, and then I will spend the 2 momentum we have to give Zoshir the next initiative.
You currently do not have any momentum.
Oh, I thought we got some from the piloting. I thought, okay, that's fine.
You had 3, and then you ended up having to use it.
Right. Okay. Never mind. Sorry, Ambrose. I tried. It's fine. It's fine.
Fuck. Okay. So you come in with this like move that would have taken out anybody, and this mook sees you coming from a mile away, and he just sort of like, you try to go like hamstring him with your knife, and he just picks up his leg and just try to backhands you with his pistol. Okay. If we're not spending the momentum or paying the threat for you to keep the initiative, then
all right. I'll eat the threat. I'll eat the threat.
Oh, okay.
To give it to Ambrose.
Yummy threat. Okay. All right. Who would you like to go next?
Is that Amir picking, or is that just up for grabs?
I gave it to you, to Zoshir.
Oh, okay.
Ah, very good. Your turn,
All right,
Zoshir. What would you like to do?
I will attempt to do the stabby.
Stabby. Okay. Go for 1 out of the 2. Go for it.
Don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die. Oh, yes.
Fuck. Okay, that's 4 successes. I don't
Fuck
think I
yeah.
can beat that.
Also,
I'll try.
also, on that, when making an attack during a skirmish or a duel, when using a
You
Chris
develop
knife,
one?
which I am, automatically generate 1 free point of momentum whenever you succeed, and then also my Chris knife is the quality 3.
Also, the NPC roll is bad.
Brilliant.
That
That is amazing.
It's a 20 and a 17.
Wow.
This guy's dead. He's so dead
He's super
that his
dead.
ancestors felt it.
Just dead.
So you just developed 4 momentum in one go and murdered this guy in one shot. Describe how you dispatch him as he's coming out of the darkness trying to shoot at you.
Oh boy. Comes out of the darkness, tries to shoot at me. I'm gonna say that how close is he to me, approximately, so I can image this in my head?
He's in melee combat. He's in the same zone as you, so you can move and attack each other within that zone.
Okay. So he gets a nice stab in the femoral artery. And then twist the blade, pull up, and then pull out.
Oh,
Rough.
he just looks at you like, oh,
I want him to feel that, you know.
oh. He's just like doesn't know what to think or do, and he just like slumps to the ground like, help me, help me. He pulls on his buddy's leg, and he's like, the guy kicks his hand away like, the fuck away from me. He tries to finish the rest of you off.
He's gonna feel that for the rest of his life.
Yeah. That was, you kept the initiative, so now it goes back to them. You see, past the assailants that came out to attack you is this guy and two of his other buddies. This guy really does have a very thick mustache, open jacket. You know, he's got like a hairy chest, and he seems like a very handsome dude, bro. He's got leather jacket and gloves on, and he comes out blasting straight away. He just levels his Mala pistol at Tiberius and fires away. Just pop, 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 pop. So I'm gonna spend a couple threat here because this guy's not playing around.
Yeah,
He seems to
spend
be
some threat.
making a sprint towards the Thopters currently.
Get to the Thopter.
Precisely. I am going to roll secretly. Let's see here.
Absolutely not. Can't do it. Sorry.
This is more justice than anything else. So he's gonna roll that. He already spent some threat, so he's gonna roll with 3 dice. And let's see, ambush is his specialty, so he's gonna roll that. And he gets 4 successes. My. Ambrose, I need you to roll battle, and you cannot include your Chris knife because he is shooting you.
How dare?
How dare.
Beat 4 successes or take serious damage from this guy.
Okay.
That's where the weakness is. Okay.
Oh boy. Do I ask for a momentum or
You have 4.
Do it.
You have 4 momentum currently, so if you want to spend 3 and throw another 2 dice in there, by all means. This is literally life or death situation. We're shooting
Use
everyone to
it.
kill
Use
you.
it. Use it. Using
Alrighty.
3.
Go for it.
If that's all right, yeah.
Use 3 for 4 dice total.
Okay. I'll try not to die. No focus for me there.
Holy! Oh, success! Boy!
Then see, that's straight 1s across the board for total success.
Jeez Louise.
Wow, those Fremen reflexes take hold, and you spring like the mongoose after the snake. After this guy comes and fires at you, you just like you jump down and just spring forward, come up in a roll, and there's like a dip, and you just slide right into it and out into cover as he just fires brazenly across and tries to hit anybody he can. You hear one of the guys like, "Milos, where are you going?" And he's just bolting it towards one of the The ornithopters. Okay. Well done. I will not keep the initiative, so now one of you get to go. I think since you've already gone, it's either going to be Tiberius or Amira. Or Amira already went, actually, so Tiberius is going to take a go, or everything resets. Tiberius will take a shot. Why not? Yes. 2 dice. No focuses. He's all blades. Okay. He wastes the one mook that was shooting at you guys. He just grabs, engages in some close combat, close quarters combat, and he just brings the gun right up against his chin, pulls the trigger, the guy falls back into darkness. He's gone. And he turns his back. He turns over and looks over his shoulder at this guy who's fleeing with his 2 buddies, and he's exchanging gunfire with them. Don't let him get away. All right. Next is next we will say it is the beginning of the new round, so we'll say Zoshir or Elois. Sorry, Amira can go.
Amira.
Does Amira have her groove back?
I will find out, I guess. Feeling a little embarrassed, she's just going to stand and kind of brush stuff off, and then just unelegantly take the dagger and try and jam it through the guy's neck, right next to her, through both carotid arteries simultaneously.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the plan. It's 1 momentum, so I'm just gonna use it if that's okay.
Sure.
Cool. Battle power. Trace dice. This does account as assassination. Yeah, I am trying to murder him.
Oh, 2 successes. I don't think he can survive that, but let's just see if he gets lucky. 1 success is enough, but not enough for that 2 success. Do you have a quality weapon? Oh, you're using poison, right?
I am using, yes, yeah.
What is the quality of your poison?
It does not list it on the sheet.
Let's say at least a +1, so
okay.
That's a total of 3 successes. Yeah, just enough needed to take him out. So you actually earn back a point of momentum that way, and he is dispatched immediately. How do you dispatch this mook that embarrassed you earlier?
Oh, yeah, like I said, it's straight through the neck to get both carotid arteries simultaneously.
Okay, yeah, you just kind of pull his hair back, yoink. I just cut straight across. He's just like, ugh! The poison seeps in, starts killing his nerves. He stops moving altogether.
As he drops, she's just gonna say, "No one will remember your name."
Jesus did not love you, okay? Okay. Let's see. Hurdy's actually going to take a turn, try to take out that one that shot at her with the dart. Come on, Hurdy, you can do it. You're our gal. You sure can. Okay, shit.
Dead.
Super dead. Yeah, Hurdy is super pissed about what they did. Obviously, Nalia's been roughed up. She does not take kindly to that, so she literally kneecaps this guy, just bowling balls his knee, hyperextends it. There's a crack, and when the guy drops to one knee, she just brings the crisp knife straight through his jaw and down straight. And he's just just drops to the ground dead, bleeding out. Let's see. Do any of you want to keep the momentum? It'll cost you 1 threat only. Nah.
It's not worth it.
Oh yeah, no.
The guy with the handsome mustache, he jumps into his thopter with his 2 buddies, one of which, by the way, is carrying a big case that is easily trailing unrefined spice. And as they get into the thopter, the engines flare up, and he starts to try to get out and get up and out of the extinct caves. And that's where we'll stop for our very late mid-show break. We shall return in 10 minutes. The current time is 12:53 Eastern Standard Time. We shall return in 10 minutes, everyone. And we have returned where we last left our adventurers. They were being beset by an ambush that was assembled by the very people that they were after. Who had kidnapped one of their own, in this case Nalia, the Fremen warrior, and had in their possession the stolen spice bribe that was intended for the guild. Very bad news indeed. They managed to down some of the mooks as they got engaged with them and during a firefight. However, the very handsome leader of theirs and two of his cronies managed to make it out with the spice bribe and onto one of their ornithopters. It seems that they were waiting and lying in wait for this ambush for some time. And now, as they're getting away, our heroes are forced with a decision. Do they pursue the people responsible for the theft of the spice bribe and go back into the Coriolis storm? So we shall begin with Zoshir, where we left off. You and Tiberius look over your shoulders as these people are escaping with the spice bribe and going back out into that storm. Hurdy just finishes dispatching the last of the mooks inside the cave. What do you all do?
Amira will wipe her weapon on the guy she killed, and then hide it back in the fold of scarves and etc.
Zoshir, you see Tiberius is like, the Thopters, and he's like running. He stops for a second to regard his dead trooper, says something underneath his breath, and just keeps running.
Did I catch what he said under his breath?
Something like those, goddamn dirty, and then he spits, which for you is a big deal.
Oh, yep, nope, I'm going after this guy.
Okay. So you try to jump into the Thopter and try to get situated to go back up. And you see Nelia is kind of like being helped along with Hurdy a little bit. She's injured, very obviously, but she's going way too slow for you to be able to assist. And she, you turn around expectantly to like, hey, I'm not leaving without the rest of my tribe. And she makes this motion with her hands that you understand to mean like, I'm gonna slow you down. Get the bribe. Go after them. I'll be here when you get back.
Okay.
Hurdy makes the same notion. Go get him. We're all doomed. You, Tiberius, and Amira jump into the Thopter, and up you go. Take off. Who's flying?
I think I'm gonna give it a shot this time.
Please, like we're not stealthing. I do not have an advantage anymore. I will still co-pilot. I will co-pilot rather. Yes.
The good news is that they flew multiple military-style ornithopters out here. Instead of taking the rinky-dinky one that you have the complication with on the way over here, you can jump into one of theirs instead.
That is indeed what I shall do.
Very good. You get a bonus die for the advanced controls that you have afforded to you with this kind of technology. It's of Cheshire make. So you get that extra die to throw in there if you want to. Go ahead and make a move roll. And anyone else who's assisting with the piloting may go ahead and roll an additional d20. See if you have enough successes to beat this guy.
It's not a complication. It's not a complication.
It's cursed.
Actually, the 17 is a complication.
Oh no.
Son of a monkey butt.
So I like to think that Zoshir's trying to fly and glances over and sees like the Cheshire brand and it's just like, fuck, and that distracts him enough for the complication.
That's good, I like that. The first difficulty you have to meet is 4. So far you have 1 and a complication. Amira.
Do better.
Feel free to assist anytime.
Please, because I am failing. I am epically failing.
Fuck my life.
You'll get 3 tries to catch up to this guy.
Okay. All right. I will go on faith for this.
Okay.
Faith that you'll do better than me.
No, fate that she's going to get home to the person she loves. That's what it's about. I mean, that's not what her statement is. I mean, it's kind
I'm
of
not
what her
dying
statement is.
here.
Yeah. I trust
Go
my
ahead.
heart, not my head. Let's go. All right. One die. Yes.
Mhm.
And no focus, unfortunately. Hey.
One success.
My
so
gift
that's
to
2
you.
total. You have 1 momentum still left, and if you wanted to use a determination point, if you have one, you can.
Is entirely up to you.
Well, here's the thing. Like last time we established that our asset characters do not have determination. Eric did let me buy a determination for threat last time,
Sneaky, sneaky.
but I do not have one in it inherently.
Oh no.
I vote we just take these 2 successes and roll again.
Okay. I'm
2
for it.
successes. All right. So 2 successes. You will need 4 more with this roll. Go ahead and roll
Okay.
first, Ambrose.
You should spend the momentum here.
Okay, take all. I think we have 2, if I'm accurate.
You have
Well-
1.
1, okay.
I will do so.
And he's spending that last one to throw that extra dice. So go ahead and roll 3 dice.
Do I still get the bonus die from the controls, or does
You
that
do,
the first?
yes.
Oh, okay. So that's 4 die now?
Yep.
Sweet.
You got
okay.
it. Another complication. Oh, they're coming up quick. Yeah, so that's 2 complications.
Buy that one off. Buy it off. Just buy it off. It's fine. Just do it.
Are
Okay.
you gonna buy it off? Are you?
Yeah, threaten me. Threaten me.
2
deserve
threat.
it.
It is. Okay. So only 1 complication. Got 2 successes. Okay. Roll for it. You might get lucky, Amira.
Oh, please roll 20 gods. Be kind. So close.
5.
close.
Oh,
But no
wow.
banana.
5 successes. 1. Okay.
Oh. Nice.
It's a total of 4? No, 5. 5 successes. Okay, if you can get 6 successes and this one, you can outmaneuver him. This guy's an ace pilot, whoever he is. Like, he's literally like closing the wings and going into a dive. And you're just like, what the fuck is this guy? Holy shit. And like, you're trying to chase after him, and like, he goes back up again, spreads his wings, hits the thrusters, and he goes into a twist through a piece of like rock. And you're just like, who is this guy?
Yeah, who is this guy?
Do you feel confident about getting not 6 successes, 4 additional successes in this last turn between the both of you?
Can I just shoot him out of the sky?
You can, but you also risk losing the spice bribe in a Coriolis storm.
Oh shit. Well, I mean, it would just return back to where it came from.
Yeah, but it wouldn't go to the guild.
That's
You
true.
have to
That's
harvest
true.
it all back again.
Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna give
Okay.
it a shot. Not the shooting, but the
Oh.
flying.
Okay,
Sorry.
go ahead and roll the flying. He's just you're catching up and he's getting farther away. You're like, oh shit. Hard to get a beat on him, especially in a storm.
Roll 20. Have I told you how much I love you? You play good music and you have pretty sheets.
Is this true?
I thought you were about to say you have pretty shoes, which is my ingratiating comment.
Oh, this is so good. I couldn't have phrased it better. Go ahead and roll, Amira. You're up.
May I make a proposal
Yes.
before I roll? So last time you did allow me to buy a determination point with threat.
I did.
What if and a follow-up question? There's a difference between group threat and personal threat, right?
No.
Okay.
Up to this point, I had been using personal threat, but I'm just like, eh.
Okay, I'll continue this pitch anyway. Sorry, everyone. What if I eat 4 threat for 1 determination point?
4 threat's good. I'm good with that. Yeah.
Cool. I will suspend 1 determination for 2 successes and then pray on these dice to be kind.
Very, very good. Okay.
I feel like Eric is saving some shit.
All right.
Okay. So you get 2 successes plus the 1. Go ahead and roll your die, please. You just need 1 success.
I will bend like a reed in the wind. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Dune quote.
So this guy is flitting through the sands and through the Coriolis storm, and there's like pieces of rock jutting out of the ground, and he's just kind of weaving his way through it. And you're sticking to him. You're right on his butt, and you're just like swerving this way and that way until finally something clicks inside the console. You're not sure what it's beeping at you for, Zoshir, but it's something has sort of accumulated around the ornithopter, and this is lock attained. You may fire.
Press the big red button.
Missiles come out. Go ahead and roll battle and throw an extra die in there because it's a House Cheshire ornithopter. Three successes. That is a pretty solid hit. No, he can't beat that right now.
Apparently, I only roll well for battle and nothing else.
I mean, you are a warrior after all, so that tracks.
Yeah, but it's like the dice know.
The dice always know.
I have never sweated and been so stressed in my life. For the record, Eric, congratulations.
And you weren't even Eloise.
Would you? Oh, okay. I'll give you this success, but there will be a cost, I assure you. Okay. So, missiles come out and they connect directly with the ornithopter, and it's trailing smoke. Like the entire back facade of one of the wings just gets stripped out. There's a burst of energy and fire, and this thing just kind of veers to one side, and it scrapes one of the jutting rocks coming out of the sand, and there's like this grating sound as it kind of goes like side over side, and it just starts to crash into the desert. And you're like, yeah, you direct hit or whatever, and then you hear like a as you see the thrusters. The same thing that happened with that previous ornithopter you have is now happening with this one, except you're too close to the ground to be able to go into a free fall without crashing. I need discipline rolls from everyone. Don't roll 18 or higher, please. Otherwise, complications will ensue from this crash.
You died. Faith it is, I guess. That's all I've got. I don't know.
That's all you got.
You're praying to good Lord Jesus to survive right now.
Yeah. That's a full 2 die roll right now, not assist or anything, right? Just us separately.
Yeah, this is all you guys separately.
And this is
not
move?
mine. Discipline.
Discipline, okay.
Ooh, no complication.
Ooh, I will also switch to, well... None of mine just really apply.
It's okay.
Just...
You're going into a crash. Nothing good is happening here.
Oh, then I'll switch to Faith, even though it's about Arrakis and whatnot.
The ornithopter bounces. It goes, hits the ground and bounces again, and then and then it goes upside down, and it goes, and you're enmeshed. You're upside down, and sand is starting to come in. Tiberius is like, shit, and he's like trying to get the harness off, like, He's got good discipline though. He gets out, and he grabs a cutter right, and he just goes. Starts cutting along the line of the seam of the ornithopter to try to cut you guys out quickly. It soon starts to become hot in here as the sparks are coming off of them, and you're all struggling with your harnesses as the sand is starting to pile in. and soon you will be drowned in sand. I need move rolls from everyone. Zoshir, ear trembling sound along the sand.
Oh fuck! It's a worm. It's a worm. Fuck my life. I'm going to actually use power for this. I'm trying to like brute force my way out of this, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Okay.
This
Oh,
is bad.
thank fuck.
This is all bad.
2 successes. That's good. Did you get 2 successes too?
I got one.
Amira, you got 1. That's 1 short. So like you're halfway out of your harness. Zoshir, you managed to get free, and you're helping Tiberius like cut a hole so that you don't get buried in sand in here. And you look back, and Amira's still stuck in her harness.
I would like to go through my frem kit, grab my thumper, and chuck it.
Call the worm over there.
Yes.
As you stick out of as you start to make out your way out of the chassis of the ornithopter, there's palpable scent of like ozone as like electricity's in the air from the how close the proximity of the worm is. So when you look up, you see a mound just coming your way, and when you look over, the other ornithopter that crashed, there's smoke billowing from it, and handsome guy with the mustache is like trying to drag the case out while his other 2 guys are dead inside the ornithopter. He's trying to get to ground, which is not too far away. You see that as you're getting ready to just set up the thumper. Do you set it up somewhere away from your thopter or close to his, or like what do you want to do here? You risk the spice rod going bye-bye as soon as the worm comes near, because it will eat everything.
Toss it in the opposite direction of all of us.
Give me a survival desert, which is your specialty.
Wait, survival, understand? Okay.
This is for your siege, so you can cite that however you want. It's taking longer than usual. Tiberius rushes over to you, Amira, to try to get you out. He's using his blade, which he's really good at. Manages to get you free. Sand is still piling in. He's just like, he's fighting it.
Success with complication.
Oh my. Okay. 1 second. I need to see what kind of worm this is.
Don't die, Leo.
I'm not.
You have to wait for Eloise to do that.
Wait, is Eloise in this whole shebang? I don't think she is, correct?
No. They're talking about
yeah.
Eloise murdering Archibald, not this scene.
Gotcha. Oh, not this scene.
Yeah, this scene bad.
Seems real bad.
But buy it off. It's a bad scene. It's really terrible. Just buy it off.
Excuse me, God. Can I pay you in threat
Of course.
to avoid
So
wormage?
rather than 1 Pardo, we have 4 now this season.
Let me see what kind of worm I got.
Oh God.
Look,
Actually,
But
you're
listen.
in the deep desert, so I get to roll 2 and see if I get a 20.
Oh.
Well, it's not a 20, so it's not the one that I was expecting was going to show up, but it is a fairly large worm that's coming. Adult sized one. So it'll swallow all of you whole if you're not careful. You set up the thumper as best as you can. You're like, come on, wormy, come on, wormy. And it's just like, it seems to be gravitating towards the destruction, the massive destruction of the 2 thopters more than it is the thumper. Like, it's just like, the thumper's an annoyance to it. It's just like, nah, I want to go over here to see what's going on. However, if you want to buy that, what is it you wanted to buy? You wanted to buy some additional dice?
I want
Or
to
the
buy off
complication?
the complication. Possibly.
I already used a lot of those complications for you. So yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll give myself 2 threat back. That's always cool.
Oh,
All right. So, with that being out of the way, there's no complication here. So, I'm going to say that the worm doesn't manage to get the spice bribe, but he does manage to get the thopters. Most of you made the move check. I need one last move check from Amira. This one's major, though. 2 successes to get to ground. Very modest for somebody so fast. Because if you fail 3 times, you die. The worm eats you. And Elois is going to be very sad.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
sad.
roll for Samirius.
Sad, that's the word we'll use.
That's the word. Enraged? In despair?
Oh, God. I'll go with power still, I suppose, since that determines who rules. Yeah, it sure does. Oh, God, we have no momentum. We have nothing. This is a terrible roll. Why is this happening?
Well, Tiberius got you 1 momentum because he is running like the devil. He had 3 tries and he almost failed 2 of them. But he did manage to get the successes he needed to get across.
I would love to spend that momentum. We just really relish spending that momentum right now.
Go for it.
Oh, please, oh, please, oh, please. Oh, thank God.
I have a talent known as Piece of Shai Halud. And so what it says basically is you may reduce the difficulty to see a worm sign by 1. Don't need to see that because it's there. If you do see a worm, you always know which direction it is going in and how long it will take to get there. As such, any attempt to avoid it has the difficulty reduced by 1. Does that count?
I would say so, sure. You can tell which way it's going and which way you want it to go. Yeah, you can steer it in a sense. Yeah.
Amir got 3 successes and no complications, I believe. Unless
no complications.
16.
You're good. Yeah. So you managed to get to the rocky ground nearby. Tiberius joins you there, and they're like, Zoshir, what are you doing? Get over here! But where they're at is away from where handsome man with the mustache and the spice bribe is heading towards. He's heading to a different island away from where you're at. Do you pursue him, Zoshir, or do you seek shelter with the rest of them and risk Shai Hulud?
So he is carrying off the spice bribe?
Oh, yeah.
And I think with the mirror's roll, we get a momentum back.
Yes, we have it.
So you can use that.
Yeah, you can.
I would like to ride this worm and chase this guy down.
Well then, now things are starting to get interesting. Okay.
So,
worm riding.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ride that worm.
You made it sound so dirty. Thank you.
Riding. There we go.
You're welcome.
Riding the worm usually consists of like 2 or 3 different things. You have to be disciplined, you have to move quickly, and you have to understand how to walk without rhythm. You don't have any of those problems with the walking without rhythm, but you need to move fast and you need to be able to maintain your discipline because these behemoths, these Leviathans, are tremendous in size, and they will completely destroy you if you're not careful. They don't care if you're from it or not. So, I need you first to make the approach, which means you need to work up your discipline. You need at least, let's call it 2. I rolled a 12 for this worm, so I'm going to say 2 successes to work up the nerve to get close enough to it so that you can put in your maker hooks and ride it all the way up to the top. And then you need to make a move check to make sure that you're not crushed by this beast as well, and to be able to steer it where you need it to go.
Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna use duty because all for the good of the siege. I'm going to chance being eaten by this Leviathan.
Okay.
Oh boy. Okay. I only get 2 dice for this, correct?
I mean, you can spend that 1 die, momentum to get an extra die. This would be the
Do
time to
it. Do
I
it.
like
Do it.
Rachel's fervent tiny nodding, like, please don't die yet.
Please don't die.
Yes, I'm using focus. No, wait, no, I'm not. Shit. Whoops.
It's okay, you didn't get any low
Yeah,
enough
it's
for it,
fine.
but still made it.
Okay.
Good.
Whew.
And we get a momentum back, I think.
Yes.
I don't. What
I
is?
think so. Yeah, you got
Okay.
3, so you get a momentum back. So you never spent it. Excellent. All right, so your discipline is strong. You're like, I have to do this for my tribe. I have to face Shai Hulud, and like this thing comes out of the ground. The mound turns into a mountain, and the sheer size of the maw on this thing completely rides up and crushes the ornithopters and just carries it away. And meanwhile, this guy's like running with the case in his hands, like, oh, looking behind him, like he's bolting for that piece of land, but he's not getting there fast enough. Now I need you to make a move check. Difficulty 2.
Oh God. Okay.
Spend it again.
You-
Spend
use-
it again.
Yes, use it. Use it.
Wait, we don't have any. Wait.
No, you already
You
went
just
back.
finished generated one.
Oh,
You just
shit.
generated one.
Okay. Yeah.
I forget
Okay.
what's your move specialty?
Stealth and worm riding.
Oh, weird.
Oh, nice.
So I really am using the focus this time. Yay.
Yes.
Oh. Oh God. Oh
3
Jesus.
successes once again. Wow.
And a 20.
Okay.
He
And a
rolled a
20.
20.
And a 20. Would you like to buy a complication of 2 for 1? Complications are bad when you're writing down worms. Okay.
So that means
Well
no.
then. Very good. Very good. I have lots of threat to throw at you now. Okay, so you start to slip off and you're like, no! And like you hook down you put down the maker hooks and you start to first you ablate the plating along the side of the worm, and that allows it to become irritated with the sand getting into the wound. So it's such a turn in place, and doing so with your hooks in place, you start to ride up to the top. As soon as you get to the top, you put in your hooks and you put down the rope, and you're ready to go. You're steering this thing anywhere you want it to go. And luckily for you, after it's finished destroying those 2 ornithopters, it's right behind your friend, the guy with the mustache and the case full of unrefined spice, as he's running for his life towards this island of rock. Do you attempt to roll him over, like to just like completely bypass him and just kind of like crush him using the weight of the worm, or do you want to like swallow him whole and have him go back into the earth again? What do you want to do?
Oh boy. No, I don't want him swallowed because then that'll also swallow the spice. Just splat.
Just want to splat him?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a move. The last one for you. This is going to be a contested roll against him because he is quite fast on his feet.
Faster
However,
than
he is
the
he is
sandworm.
not in good terrain for him to be able to move, and he's not stealthing, and he's not flying an ornithopter, which is what he's actually good at.
Are there any more momentums?
You just generated one. Use it.
Yes. There is one. He's gonna roll 3 dice though because he is fast and I have lots of threat. So no focuses though. So you need to beat 3 successes. Look at that.
Holy shit.
Look at that indeed.
5.
Damn.
Wow. Okay, so you generate 2 more. Wow.
Sorry, I'm
Impressive.
probably breaking everyone's eardrums.
No, it's
No, you're
fine. You're fine.
Very exciting moment. Okay. So let's get rid of this. All right. So how do you describe how you steer this massive creature and crush this guy in some fashion?
Oh, so I'm riding this worm above the sands, and I see him down there, and I guide the worm to just kind of just like laying on it, like Shamu at SeaWorld splashing the audience. His blood is sprayed across the sands, and the spice bribe, if you'll allow it, skitters away.
I'll allow it. There were no complications with that roll, so we're all good here. Yeah, you hear like the Wilhelm scream in the background. Ah! It's like you just bones get crushed. This guy's got turned to paste practically in the sand, and you steer the worm away just enough so that you can send it on its way into the Coriolis storm that is whirling around you. You take your time to get off this thing to join your compatriots, or are you like, here, hop on board, guys?
Can I do that?
I mean, you could, but then you'd have to ride this thing through a Coriolis storm.
Oh,
Coriolis
shit.
storms strip the skin off of bones.
Yeah, nah.
There is one thing that they do in Dune when they're riding in a Coriolis storm with a sandworm, and that's that they shove this one scale up and basically hide under the scale as they ride.
Oh, that's a trained Fremen thing. He could probably do that, but everybody else is
If it was just me, maybe, but it's time to take this worm, this Uber
elsewhere. Uber worm. You let it go and you say a prayer under your breath, maybe his coming and going, cleanse the world, etc. And it just keeps going, and it actually is paying attention to that thumper you laid earlier, and it starts heading in that direction. Swallows it, goes back down into the depths of the sands. With the Coriolis storm all around you, you walk without rhythm over to the case, and you get a glimpse of the guy who had it in his possession. Whatever's left of him is still there. He's face down in the sand, though. He's dead.
I assume Amira and Tiberius are safe to make their way over that way.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna check for any actual identifying brands on this person.
Sure. You find a little trinket with a crest on it. Second. I gotta dig into my image library. Second. You find a crest of some sort, another outframe house of some sort. It looks like this.
Oh. Ambrose knows what that is.
Zoshir,
but Zoshir has no idea.
Tiberius takes a look and he's like, what is that? Amira. Would she know what that is?
I don't know. She's been with the guild for a while, and we know everyone.
True.
But I don't know how much she pays. Like, I don't know how much Amira personally pays attention to that fuckery. Can we do a heads or tails if she knows?
Yeah.
Okay.
A simple understand check of
All right.
1 or 2 successes is more than sufficient.
Cool, I'll do that. I'll just go with truth then as well.
Yeah, makes sense.
Focus.
There you go. Yeah, you've seen banners like this before, but this one in particular is very relevant recently, within the last year or so. And when you're like, oh, that's House of Cardis. And then when you turn this dead guy over, you realize why he was carrying that. He looks like this. That brooch that he has with that emblem only is typically given to Regis Familia, meaning people who are part of the royal family of that house. See, Tiberius is like, did we get it? Is it all there? He says, looking at the case.
Can I check really quick?
Yeah.
Just for the if it wasn't clear, Amira's going to keep these revelations to herself.
Of course.
Rude.
You take a peek. Sure enough, it's unrefined spice, loads of it. It's quite heavy, but it's all yours now. It's back in your hands. Now we'll switch the scene over to Elois in the city of Arakeen. So, you've been taken to the guild embassy in Arakeen for your safety, of course. This isn't a
Right.
very long scene, but it is one in which you receive a very interesting message from someone that you've been in contact with recently. That of Pardo Reed, the House Mentat.
I see.
It's a very short message, to the point, which is par for the course for the House Mentat. But he simply says, the scene has been cordoned off at Siege. Harkonnens are sending their Mentat to investigate. I've been invited to join him. You know what this means. What he's implying here is that there were 3 Harkonnen ornithopters that exploded outside of a Fremen siege, just outside Arakeen along the shield wall. So when the Harkonnens investigate, what are they going to find? They're going to find House Cheshire personnel killed by the Harkonnens and vice versa, dead Fremen, of course, and the black boxes for each one of those ornithopters. If they're able to investigate, they may be able to trace that back to House Cheshire. Very bad news indeed. How would you like to proceed?
Okay, sometimes just Cheshire ornithopters do that, especially when they're turned against a member of the house.
No, that last thing
Sounds
I
like
did before
shoddy
we
work
left,
to me. I'm just saying.
last thing I did before we left was tell them to make sure to take care of the Thopters.
Couldn't they? The Fremen of the siege had to flee because there were more Harkonnens coming.
Okay.
They couldn't care less about stealing a black box or whatever. They're like, oh shit, more Harkonnens are coming? Cool, we're out.
I forget the person I report to, quote unquote's name here.
Shit, I forgot too. Hold on 1 second.
Thank you. I'm glad it wasn't just me.
So many
I wrote her. I wrote her off immediately.
Ugh.
It's like, you're actually not important to me. I'm just gonna do what the fuck I want. And now I actually do
Yes.
need her.
Ah, yes. Okay. 1
Mm.
second. Names. Who are you? Met with Adrico, and then you went to Arrival. Here we go. Your contact is a woman by the name of Hina. She's 40.
Hina.
She's in her 40s, white hair, corporate look, highly
Perfect.
competitive.
So once I receive that information, I immediately beeline for Hina.
She seems amused to see you here. Where's the fire, Miss Cheshire?
Oh, it is a fire indeed, of many ornithopter burning, Cheshire dead, Fremen dead, and Harkonnen dead, and perhaps evidence of a plot against the guild by one of those houses. I need a site lockdown that we can investigate first.
That's a really big fucking lie. So, I'm going to spend some threat to create some difficulty for you.
Sounds good.
To the tune of 3 threat, which means you're going to need to give me a communication roll of at least 3 or higher.
Well, conveniently, I have 8 communicate with a focus and deceit.
Perfect. Make it happen.
I'm
You
gonna
have
go.
2 momentum.
I will spend 1 of that if that's okay with everyone. This is a really important lie.
Okay.
I will
Lie
use
your
I will
ass
use
off.
duty because my duty statement is I know my responsibilities.
Very good.
Okay,
Alright.
so duty, 3 dice, and
Duty to
focus,
house.
yes. Oh, dice, please be good to me.
Woo! 1, 2, 3 successes right on the dot with a complication. Okay. So you're lying to your manager. You're like, hey, this is really important, and they have a plot against the guild. Really, a plot, you say? I'm gonna need this written up, of course. You understand this, right?
I'm happy. My most trusted agent was among the people. I'm happy to sign my name to this.
Oh, your little plaything Amira? She just kind of smiles and leans against her desk.
Very subtly white knuckling, like, "Ooh, I'm going to kill you eventually."
Oh, well, that would be a shame, wouldn't it? All right, very well. Proceed as you will, but I want to report first thing in the morning. Do you understand?
Understood. Thank you for this indulgence.
Of course. Smiles, turns back around. What are your actions?
I'm immediately any agents like locking down that area. Any house member that is there is acting against guild interests, like a full bulletin broadcast that they must fuck off.
Now, for this, you're gonna have to communicate with House Harkonnen. Are you telling them straight up, like, "Hey, stay the fuck away from that seat, or you're gonna be going up against the guild"?
Yes, I'm fully doing that.
Ooh, that is a very big
That's
threat.
ballsy.
Okay, very ballsy indeed. Okay, so yeah, you issue this command. It's like, we were under orders from Raban to report to this siege and lock it down.
I don't give a fuck less what you were under orders to do. I have touched the universe's mind. I control when spice arrives at your shithole homeworld. Stay the fuck away from that siege.
He gives you the equivalent of, I gotta speak to my manager, but he does exactly that, and he's just like, we need to get the guild is threatening to just pull a spice. We need to get out of here, quick, come on. And they start vacating the premises. That was your first opening move. Well done. What's your follow-up?
The follow-up is probably personally going there to make sure there's only one person I truly trust currently, and she is not with me. So I'm going. I have to make a personal report, so I must personally see that this is taken care of, I guess.
You summon a driver for your thopter, and you get in. It's an all white, very lavish looking thing, and it takes off into the air, and it starts ferrying you along the shield wall. And you look out over there, and you see smoke clouds in the distance, and the first thing you think of is like, holy shit, what if she's dead? Fuck. Okay, cool. We shall now switch back to Lady Daphne, Norma, and Massum inside the siege with Kyra. So after this little revelation that she put forward to you, she walks with you into the rear room, and she does take Massum with her. Inside is a treasure trove. There are weapons here, drugs of all kinds, jugs, liter johns of water that line the wall, melange as far as you can see, trinkets and baubles and all manner of things that you didn't expect to see at all when you came to see and to interact with Kyra in any way. This is not something you typically find in a Fremen siege. And she just kind of lets you quietly go out into the room and observe everything that's there. Massum is particularly almost appalled, surprised, shocked at everything that he's seeing and everything that he's getting from his mother. And he's just like, is this what I think you're... Wait. And he looks over his shoulder at the Sayadina, who's very, hands clasped to the side of Kyra. And she kind of, motions. She's like, go ahead, speak your mind, my boy. And he looks around cautiously, very aware of his surroundings, and he uses the language of House Cheshire. Is is it safe to speak here? Are the Fremen present? And she is she gives a look to the Sayadina, and she dismisses her with a glance, and she just yes, of course, master. And she turns around and leaves the room. So now it's just all of you minus the Sayadina. No face dancers or anything like that of the sort here. Massum is like, you're using these people, aren't you? You're manipulating them. You're playing the same games as the Sisterhood. And for what? Why? Why do we do this? Why do we keep doing this to each other. You see Massum is like, should I tell him, Norma, or shall you?
The look on Daphne's face, she's in complete agreement with Massum right now.
Like, what the fuck, dude?
You should explain this to your child. Your son.
Perhaps I'll explain it to you first, Norma. Then maybe you can explain it better, she says. Come, allow me to share with you, she says.
Norma goes up to share.
Okay. She puts her forehead against yours. She shares what she's seen. This isn't like her own experiences. She's giving you the future. And it is not what you expect. You see an image of a house banner, that of a hawk, and it's on fire. And there's this chanting that's taking place in the background. Muad'Dib, Muad'Dib. And it echoes and it grows in its sound to the point where it's deafening. And that sound turns into motion, explosions, and fire, the likes of which will destroy cities and just spread throughout an Imperium, killing billions. You see that. And then there's another way. Just past this way, you see machines. Many, many machines. In the form of hunter-seekers, swarms of them. And how they hunt all of humanity throughout the Imperium for millennia, eventually extinguishing them completely. The end of humanity. Kralizek, as it is known. The great cloud darkness at the end of the universe, at the end of time. This is what you can expect for humanity. This is what Kyra has seen. Looking a different way, you see a horrible transformation that takes place on Arrakis with a human and a worm. And from that union, a tyrant is born who will rule for millennia. The face of this tyrant changes depending on which path is taken. Is it a man? Is it a boy? Is it a woman? All paths lead to the same place. All paths lead to Kralizek, to the end and the extinction of humanity, unless something is done first. You see her hand wipe all of those visions away, and instead another path emerges. One that leads around and circumvents some of these events, but still repeats some of the key moments that you experienced in those visions. There is a God King. There is a Jihad. And the Empire will never be the same again. That is what she shares with you. And you've seen things, you've had sharings with other Bene Gesserit, you've had your navigator, your namesake, show you things. Other memory has shown you different lifetimes that you've lived over and over in your mind. None of that prepares you for this. In fact, it is so much that it actually rocks you off of your heels and you have trouble maintaining equilibrium. You're just sliding down the side of the wall and blood is rushing down your nostrils. Daphne, you see Norma collapse from something that was just shared with her from Kyra. How do you react?
Daphne just gives a little shriek and goes immediately to tend to Norma.
Kyra also has a bit of a nosebleed, but she seems like she's been here before. And she just sort of sits on a pile of spice. And she just kind of lowers her head. Massum's like, Mother! rushes over. It's like, "Are you all right?" She kind of looks to him with this pitying look. "I'm so sorry, my son. I've tried everything I could think of to avoid what will happen to our family. Alas, our family is cursed. And this place, this planet, is a crucible for us all." And that's where we'll stop. That's all the time that we have for this session. I hope everyone here and those watching enjoyed the show. We'll continue our adventures into the Imperium next Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's introduce everybody one at a time. Leo, tell them who you are, where they can find you online, and who you played this evening.
Hello, my name is Leo, stands for Leo of the Black, and you can find me. I stream on Sundays, but recently I just haven't had the time, so probably on Friday again. But other than that, yeah, today I played Archibald, and hopefully next weekend's gonna be good for me.
Excellent. Devin.
Hello all, I have been Mother Norma, the most innocent person in the party. And next time you'll be able to see me will be Monday here, this channel, at the start of something new.
Yes. Ambrose.
Hey everybody, I enjoyed almost dying for you this evening, and how about that worm riding though? Anyway,
That's pretty awesome.
you can find that recording on Spice Hub later. Anyway, sorry, I broke Aaron.
Yes.
Well done.
I broke myself. You can find me all over the internet as Am Changeling, and you can find me on Etsy at Thornkind. And I will also see you on Halloween evening.
Excellent. Aaron.
Hello, everyone. I am once again Aaron. Once again, either spelling of my name is valid now. And once again, no, he, him. Thanks. I played Eloise Cheshire briefly for some wild bullshit I shouldn't have had to do. Cough, cough, Rachel.
I've been kidnapped for 2 sessions.
Where are you at?
I'm sorry. Remind me who it was who ordered the suicide switches to be flipped. Was it you? Was it you?
Sometimes
Desperate
Cheshire
situations,
ornithopters just do that when they're aiming at Cheshires.
Anyways,
It's a superstition. Everybody knows that.
I blame faulty mechanic.
It's because they
Fair.
crossed a black cat.
anyways.
also.
So I played Eloise doing some wild shit for a little bit, but mostly Amira this evening, which was stressful. So stressful. In my 20 plus years of role playing, I've never sweated so much or been so stressed for a character, and it's not even my main character. So kudos, Eric. I love this game. I love playing with all of you. Yeah, that's it for me.
It's good to have you. And of course, last but not least, Rachel.
Jesus. Like, as I have commented multiple times in the Discord, holy goddamn shit. I have been playing Daphne, who probably has a bunch of, fucking decisions to make next week. Wow. Yeah, you can find me Stolen Fires, currently on Twitter. Who knows where else I will land? Because, yeah, Twitter's gonna Twitter. But yes, for Halloween, I am really excited because we're going to be debuting 2 shows on this channel at 3 o'clock Pacific, so 6 p.m. Eastern. There's going to be Victory, Vigilance, and Sacrifice. That is a Dragon Age story of the 4th Blight. You will see Devin there, you will see Ambrose there, you will see a couple other people there, including my friend Brody, who I don't believe has ever been on camera on a stream before, so this is going to be exciting. And then, later that evening, at 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern, we're going to be doing a debut. A really good friend of mine, Chloe, is going to be running Curse of Strahd using the She is the Ancient module. That is also going to be super exciting. They've already done their session 0, so they're just going to jump straight into playing. You'll be able to see Birdie. Birdie will be there, so will Lupine Vendetta. So will Rebel Selkie. She's also coming back, and another friend of mine named Ben. Not Big Dad, more different Ben.
Excellent. Awesome. I've been Eric at Modern Recluse Online. You can find me back here on Friday night, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Very special thanks to Rachel, of course. As always, a big thanks to our viewers and fans for tuning in. And just remember, never sit with your back to the wall. Always remember your shield emitter and be careful with whom you trust. In the game of houses, nothing is truly as it seems. Good night, everybody.